How's everybody doing this morning on this pretty, bright, shiny May 1st morning? You're probably not going to see this until May the 2nd, but boy, I tell you what, sun is shining out this morning. Beautiful day. First day I've been able to shed my coat. We're taking a road trip. We're going to go over toward Fort Recovery, Ohio this morning. It's just about a 20-mile jaunt from my house to get over there. I've got to drop something off to a friend of mine and pick something up while I'm there. And I thought you might like to see a little countryside here. We're headed out of town, going south, and I'm about to turn going east here as soon as the traffic allows it. Let them get on down the road here a little bit. Well, they're taking their time. There we go. There's a break in the action. And you get to see another little direction here. Going out of town another direction. Yesterday we was up a little further north. Today we're a little bit south edge of town, headed east. I've done been out once this morning already, and wasn't that an ordeal? I'll tell you about that here as we drive along. Holy smoke, I thought I was being smart, and I was. It was just the other people I was dealing with wasn't too bright. I went to get the oil changed in a tire rotation on the van this morning. And I thought, they open up at 7 o'clock. So I will get there when they open up. And that way I'll be first in, first out. Should be quick and easy. We'll get them warmed up this morning. So I'm there right at 7 o'clock when they unlock the door. Then they made me wait 20 minutes while they fiddled around, taking off their coats and sloofing around trying to figure out how to get punched in, I guess. And finally, one of them asked if he could wait on me, and I told him I wanted an oil change and a tire rotation. And he said, well, we'll go out and we'll get all the information for the vehicle. We'll come back in and have you sign this. So, next thing I know, about 15 minutes later, and I still hadn't pulled the van in or asked me to sign nothing, the kid that was the manager, and he could not have been more than 25 years old, okay? He comes in there where I'm waiting, and he says, well, I got some bad news. And I said, well, I don't want to hear it, but I guess I need to. And he says, we can't do your tire rotation this morning. Now, there ain't nobody there but me. And there's 3 fellers loafing around there, counting the manager, and there's another in an office, and they're telling me they can't do my tire rotation. I said, well, what seems to be the problem? And he says, I swear I can't make this up. He says, well, you got a nail in a tire, and we can't patch the hole because it's right up next to the sidewall, and we can't rotate the tires with a tire like that on it. And I said, well, it seems kind of odd to me that I've got a nail in a tire when I've got a gauge there on the dashboard in that van that will tell me if a tire is losing air. And I was just out on a road trip yesterday and didn't have a bit of problem. I want to see the nail. So me and him and the 2 other techs go out there where the van is parked, and they show me that there's a nail in the tire, but as all you could see was the head of the nail, and it didn't look to be a very big nail. And I said, well, how do you know that the nail is all the way through the tire? And he says, well, we don't. And I said, well, market to, if it does go all the way through the tire, to sell me a new tire, would you? And he said, well, yeah, we could do that. And I said, and then if it had a new tire on it, you could rotate the tires. And he said, yeah. And I said, well, what if the nail don't go all the way through it? And he says, well, I guess we could probably rotate the tires then. But he's kind of stammering around, you know. He says, well, I guess we could pull the nail and see. I said, well, I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's change the oil, and then we'll deal with the tire. But I want you to pull the nail out of the tire, and I want to see the nail. And I want to know if that nail goes all the way through, because if it's losing air and you can't patch it, then I guess I'd need a new tire. But if it don't go all the way through and the tire's holding air good, I don't see any reason that you can't rotate the tires. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. How'd that be? He said, well, okay, we'll do that. And I'm thinking, isn't it odd that here I am, an old lady, retired on Social Security, and I'm having to tell these kids how in the heck to deal with the tire. Holy smoke. There wasn't none of the three of them past 25 years old. Oh my God. So, they changed the oil, which took them over 30 minutes to just change the oil. And by this time, I've been there about an hour. They finally got it over in the bay where they's going to check the nail, and they get the nail pulled out. I see them pull the nail out, and they wandered around the vehicle and spent about 5 minutes fiddling around. And then they called the manager feller out there, and I saw him show him the nail, and he wanders around and around and around the vehicle. And he comes in, and he goes in the office with this other feller, and then he comes back out of the office, and he comes into the waiting room there where I'm at, and he says, well, I got some good news. And I said, okay. He says, the nail didn't go all the way through the tire. And he shows me this nail. This thing wasn't even an inch long. It was more like a thumbtack. And he says, the tire is holding air good. He said, but we got a little discrepancy. And I said, well, what do you mean? He says, well, the one tech says that he doesn't feel comfortable doing the tire rotation because he thinks the tire might be weakened because of having this nail in it. He says, now my opinion on it, which meant the older gentleman that was sitting back there in the office, the boss that he was talking to, he says, my opinion is that a little bit of nail like this isn't going to do it any harm. And he says, so it's up to you if you want us to put a new tire on it, or if you want us to rotate the ones that's on it, or what do you want us to do? I said, rotate the tires that's on it. So he goes out and he tells the fellers to rotate the tires. So they leave one feller out there to deal with taking the tires off the van. They get it up on the lift, and next thing I know, he's beating the hell out of the tires with a sledgehammer. I thought, Lord have mercy, I'm going to have to go out there and whip him. He finally comes in and he tells the manager kid, he says, I can't get that one tire off of it. So they had a little conference, the four of them in the office, and then the manager says, well, I'll tell you what, loud enough for me to hear it, he said, I'm going to send both of you out there to get that tire off of that van and get them rotated. So two of them march out there. The littler one that hadn't been in on the tire rotation, he takes a sledge to the back of the tire, and you hear him go thump on it about 3 times. And then he kicked it a couple times, and the tire comes off. They got him changed, rotated around, got the lug nuts back on it, and then the manager feller calls me out to the cash register. I thought, well, this will be interesting to see what he thinks he's going to do. By this time, I've been there 2 hours, all right? 2 hours. And he says, well, I got some more good news for you. And I said, what is it? And he says, we're not going to charge you for the tire rotation. I thought, well, I would think not after you beat the hell out of my poor tires. And he says, so you're just going to have to pay for an oil change today, and that's it. He says, did you get those tires here? I said, Lord, no, I didn't get those tires here. Those are the original tires on that van. vehicle is 7 years old, and it has 35,212 miles as of right this second. It is not warranted having to have new tires put on this vehicle. Those tires are like 80,000 mile tires on it, and so they should be good for another 45,000 miles. Are you kidding me? Did you get those tires here? Lord have mercy. So I paid him the 22 bucks for the oil change. 2 hours of my time down the drain that I won't get back. I went on my way. Now I'll keep an eye on that tire. I don't think that thumbtack in it is going to cause it any damage. But you never know. Can't be too sure. So I'll keep an eye on it. The gauge on the dash should tell me if it's losing air or the way the vehicle drives. You can always tell by the way they drive if they go to pulling. Something ain't right. Because you can't always tell those gauges that they put on them. Sometimes go cattywampus, especially after they beat the hell out of the poor tire with a sledgehammer. Before I left, I walked around the vehicle, make sure they hadn't bent the rims, at least not on the outside of it, they're not bent. I'd hate to have to go back there and hurt somebody. But this was, you probably wonder, well, where in the world should you take this vehicle to go through that kind of gyration? And I've been there many times. I've never had this sort of an issue with them. But it's at the Walmart Tire Center at the Walmart store local there in town. Holy moly. Now, this right here is State Line Road that we're turning on. So we're right on the Ohio-Indiana state line. And that's one of them old-fashioned railroad tracks. It's uneven, and you've got to kind of ease over that bad boy. Away from knocking the undercarriage out of your vehicle. But I granny this vehicle, you know. I don't drive it much. Most of my driving is local. My big trip every year has been down to Oxford to get my taxes done. And that's about 75-mile one-way trip down there, but I don't have to do that no more now. Everything's on Social Security. So unless Publishers Clearinghouse shows up at my door with one of them big checks, I don't see anything changing in that area anytime soon. So that big trip's over. I go down to Richmond once every 2 months, and that's about a 50-60 mile trip down there, and that's about as far as I go. I run over to Muncie once a month, and that's about 30 mile one way, and I run over to Salina once in a blue moon, and y'all saw that trip yesterday. That's about 30 mile one way. But everything else is just generally right there in town, right close. Oh, got somebody wanting to turn this direction. I'll get out of their way. And how pretty it looks, everything greening up, trees are starting to bud a little bit, beginning to look like spring finally, first day of May. I had to laugh yesterday. Somebody sent me something there on the Facebook page. Some of the things they send around funny. Said that the first Saturday of May is Naked Gardening Day. And what made it even funnier is right there in my town, Saturday is going to be the start of the week cleanup, first week of May, and the church next door is going to be helping folks to clean up around their properties. And I I thought, well, won't they be surprised when they find out that it's Naked Gardening Day? Oh my goodness. I can't make this stuff up. Oh, the sunshine puts me in a good mood. I can't even be too aggravated over the foolishness at the Walmart this morning with the vehicle. Lord. I mean, I realize this is how they learn, and they got to start somewhere, but I would think that it would be better to put an adult out there with the children when they're trying to learn, so that they have somebody to learn from. Turning them loose with people's expensive vehicles, for goodness sakes. This friend of mine that I'm going to see, I've known him since I was a little girl. He worked with my mother. My mother was a USDA poultry and red meat inspector back in the early 70s. Before she got too sick to work. He worked in one of the plants that she worked in. Then I lost contact with him for many years, and gained contact back with him again through my animals on the farm. Because I went to animal swap meets, like a flea market only with critters. People take their critters to sell these big swaps. He's been into flying squirrels and sugar gliders and those kind of critters, and I've been into just about everything else but that. He had a bunch of surgeries done a few years ago, and I took care of his sugar glider for him while he was in the hospital and in rehab. They rebuilt his spine, put rods all in his back. I think it was 3 surgeries he went through that year. Then on Nary Country Road, you got to be sure you're over on your own side when vehicles are coming at you. Grew up on a road like this. Actually, it was not quite as good as this. It was more tar than it was gravel. The bottoms of my feet was always covered in tar in the summertime. Being out there on that road barefoot. Attention to my road signs as I get down issues were last night with my OBS. Apparently that thing's pretty doggone finicky, and you have to check every dadburn setting in the thing every time you turn on OBS. So I will be doing that from now on. We will have no more of those issues. We will make sure that every T is crossed and every I is dotted. But it, for some reason, had decided to disable my microphone, and that's why y'all couldn't hear me when I was doing OBS. I didn't know it would do that. I had the microphone all set up. Like I say, it was working over on Twitch. I don't know what would make it change its mind, but it did, so. We'll know to check that. Check the camera. It's going to be like one of them checklists, you know. Have you ever been with a pilot when he's getting ready to fly a plane? One of them Cessna puddle jumpers or something, you know. They walk around the plane. They got a checklist. They got to check everything off as they go around it, make sure that everything's working properly before they take the plane up in there. That's what OBS is like. You got to circle it. Well, I see I'm coming up on his house up here up the road, so I'm going to turn off the camera, and I will be back with you shortly. It'll just be a second to you. I thought you might enjoy taking this little trip with me and listening to some stories and looking at the countryside. I was talking about them animal swap meets. Boy, I haven't been to one of them in a long time because I haven't had any livestock since back, oh gosh, it's been over probably about 15 years ago since I've had any livestock to take. But boy, we used to have some good times. One place we used to go was over on the west side of Indiana, and they called it the Croy Creek swap meet. And you'd go back this long lane and go past this guy's house and barns and stuff, and through a big old gate, and go back around. He had a big old pond in the back, and then all the way around that pond he had put a road, and people could park all the way around that. And there was trees all back in there. It's nice and shady, and you go back in there and park, and you'd have as much room as you wanted to set up in. He didn't have lots marked off. A lot of them have, you know, you get a 10 by 10 spot and that's all you get, kind of thing. But he'd let you have as much room as you wanted. There's plenty of room back here. And we used to go in there on a Friday night, a bunch of us, and we'd have a big cookout, build us a bonfire, and camp out overnight, sit around the campfire and tell stories, enjoy each other's company, and then we'd be set up there for the Saturday swap, and then we'd camp out a little more on Saturday night and have a little bit more fun, and then by noon Sunday, the swap meet was pretty much over. By noon we was packing up to come back home. And we do that twice a month over there at Croy Creek. There's one up in northern Indiana that was a Saturday swap that they'd have 3 or 4 times a year called Wolf Lake. And they still have that one. I hear people talk about it from time to time. And then there's a great big one down in Lucasville, Ohio, long stick of some kind to keep pushing up on the top of the tent, keep the water knocked out of it so it didn't collapse the tent. And I've been through dust storms where it was dry, it hadn't rained for a month, and wind kick up and dust choke you. Hot weather and cold weather. Motorcycles out yet, but the day is still early. Everybody got a motorcycle. Will be jonesing to be out today. It's warming up. Like I say, it's the first day that I've been able to go without a coat. About home. So I think I'm going to be signing off. Be sure and check out all the links I got down there in the description of the video. It has my Patreon and my Etsy store and my Twitch and my Twitter and my Instagram. And I do the live stream on Twitch at 3 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays Eastern Time. So I hope y'all join me there. I do some crafting on that show. I'm working on unfinished objects. So with all that being said, there's only one thing left to say, and that's Brenda's crafting. Be like Brenda. Bye.